Progression plays a part in any game, and Skull and Bones is no different. There is loads of different ways in which Ubisoft have revealed in which you will be able to progress through Skull and Bones. There isn't much of a story, but there's a little bit, plus also there is an XP system. And we're going to be covering everything in today's video. But before we do get into the video, if you enjoy the content here and want to see a bit more from me, then make sure that you do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are uploading the latest videos around Skull and Bones as well as other Ubisoft titles multiple times every single week. So if you do want to stay up to date on everything, then make sure you are following the channel. Getting back into the video. It has already been revealed by Ubisoft themselves that Skull and Bones is not a narrative-driven game. But with that said, there is a few bits of story within game. It's just not a crazy in-depth story that you would expect from the likes of Assassin's Creed. So what I mean by this is that everyone starts the exact same. Your character is shipwrecked on an island, and that's where you'll have to build up to your very first ship. This is your dhow. You do see a bit of this within the cinematic trailers. This is the story that you have right at the beginning. But once that's done, there is no main story missions for you to progress through a narrative, but there is still elements of storylines, but they all are in different areas of the world. What I mean by this, and Ubisoft have said this themselves, Skull and Bones is not a narrative driven game, but with that said, there are a few narrative pieces in game where you'll meet important NPCs, and these NPCs are called kingpins. And each of them will have their very own story, which you'll learn as you develop rapport with them by taking on more contracts with them. Ubisoft then followed up by saying that there is an underlying story to the game with which we build the entire world lore. And that's what you're getting through different elements within the world. But it's just not a main focus. The whole idea is that you are starting from the very bottom. You are shipwrecked on an island with nothing. And the story is pretty much what you make it to be. If you want to forever be struggling as a pirate, then by all means, you could just stick with your starter ship with the dhow. But I'm sure most people will see this as an opportunity to go rags to riches. They start off very low with nothing to their name and then eventually build to be a master pirate. And if you are looking to do this, this is where it links to our very next segment. This, of course, is the XP system within game. Because you can't just start out with nothing and then all of a sudden have everything. You need to progress, and the XP system within game comes down to Infamy. Infamy acts as Skull and Bones' version of the traditional experience system, being one way to monitor your progress. So far, with what has been revealed at launch of Skull and Bones, the system spans 10 tiers with a variety of different unlocks between all of them. Each time that you increase your infamy and unlock the very next tier, you will be able to unlock more equipment which will make you more dangerous within the world, as well as there being other opportunities for you to unlock different types of jobs, other customization options, different weapons, armor, resources, tools, and being able to help grow your fleet. One of the easiest ways for you to increase your infamy within Skull and Bones is to accept and complete contracts. These are essentially your quests or your missions. You can find most of these contracts at outposts where you'll find different types of merchants. Once you talk to these, you'll be able to accept contracts where they will tell you to do something very specific, and upon completing that task, that is where you'll be rewarded with resources as well as infamy, which will then level you up. But it should be known that this isn't the only way in which you can increase your infamy, because there are other activities within the game, such as plundering, treasure hunts, investigations, and dynamic events. With Ubisoft also putting emphasis that there will be loads more ways within the future as they go and release free DLC. And this may go without saying, but just because you do increase your infamy doesn't mean that you can instantly unlock the item. Yes, you have the ability to have it, but you also need to increase the amount of resources you have by taking on other pirate ships, whether that be NPCs or players, or maybe you're just trying to find resources off some of the islands which you can dock and actually collect resources on the side. Once you have enough resources and you've unlocked the item, that is when you can buy it to upgrade your ship or customize your player character. On paper, Skull and Bones' progression system is extremely simple, but it's very important. Progression systems are important to any type of game, but with Skull and Bones, because of how fans have already reacted to the game, considering it's not what players wanted, especially for those that have been expecting this game since 2018. But now the gameplay loop with progression is really all it has. As we've already covered, there is no storyline, which is encouraging players to sit there and actually find out the ending of the story, because the story is what you make it. There's also limited exploration, in that you can sail the seas, but you can't actually see an island within a distance, decide to travel over there and actually explore that island, because there's only set islands which you're allowed to dock your ship on. Skull and Bones is primarily a game about you getting into naval conflict and not actually being a pirate. So there's also limitations to what you can actually do when you do dock your ship. So there's no sword fighting, for example, and when you board other people's ships, there's not actually any gameplay, it goes into a cinematic. And all of these points have already raised quite a lot of complaints, which we have even gone through in previous videos. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a bad game, it just means that it's more dependent on the core functionality with the progression system and the gameplay loop itself. If both of these or one of these is not up to a good standard, it really doesn't matter because they're not going to play the game. That is the point in which players will no longer want to play and they're going to go and find something else, whether that be another pirate game, most likely going to be Sea of Thieves, or whether they go and find something entirely different, which does just have a better gameplay loop with progression systems in place, and maybe they have few other elements such as exploration or a storyline. But on the other hand, if Ubisoft does get this done correctly with a good progression system and also very good gameplay loop with what they have, even if it is limited, but still good with the naval combat, then there will be an audience for this game. And I guess despite everything, even though that there is quite a bit of backlash with how currently Skull and Bones looks compared to what it did back when it was first revealed, as well as player expectation not actually line up to what has been revealed so far, none of that really matters, because at the end of the day, Ubisoft have created a game which there is an audience playing. It just may not be the audience that it was initially intended for back in 2017, but at least there is a audience which is somewhat enjoying what is currently there. Now, with Infamy, Ubisoft have already announced that there will be free DLC within the future, so if they're going down that route and actually do provide content, it's likely that we can actually see extra tiers on top of this, which will allow players to unlock more and exclusive items for those which have the highest infamy. There was a direct quote saying that players will be able to see in-game events like bigger, deadlier challenges, cosmetics, and more come after launch and will be free for all players. We just need to wait for the game to initially release, and then after that, I'm sure Ubisoft at some point will keep players updated on when this content is going to be added and exactly what it is going to be. But anyway guys, this is the progression system within Skull and Bones. There's a very limited storyline in what is currently there. Nothing that you'll actually go through with main missions and actually play through, but more about lore which is in the background, which you can find more about by collecting different types of contracts and completing them. And then we also have the progression system itself, which is directly connected to Infamy, and the higher your Infamy, the more items that you're able to unlock, with there being potentially more items in the future with DLC. Skull and Bones will launch on November the 8th, 2022, and is coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Stadia, and Xbox Series X and S. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below with what has been revealed so far. Is this something that you're still going to play, or have you lost all excitement whatsoever that you no longer see the point in actually playing Skull and Bones? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.